Welcome back to Dinar Shift, everyone. Today we are diving deep into an absolutely unprecedented, truly game-changing development that has sent massive reverberations through the global financial community and, most specifically, through those holding the Iraqi dinar. For years, the narrative surrounding the potential revaluation of the dinar has been a relentless cycle of waiting, of insinuation, and of endless, often contradictory, speculation. The sheer persistence required to follow this story has been an exhaustive endeavor for countless individuals worldwide. Yet, as of this remarkable day, as October 27, 2025, that lengthy, uncertain journey has culminated in a monumental, undeniable moment of official clarification. A piece of documented, government-issued information has finally materialized, cutting through the dense fog of rumor like a beacon, and its message is stunning in its finality. The news that has rocked the foundation of the private exchange and investor communities comes directly from the source, the official Iraqi government Gazette. For the first time in the history of this prolonged saga, this authoritative publication has delivered a clear, confirmed timeline for the long-anticipated Iraqi Dinar Redemption process. This is not derived from anonymous sources, unverifiable insider chatter, or the constant din of social media speculation. This is hard, published as legal government policy, and its release is causing a profound, electrifying shockwave. The communities categorized as Tier 4B, the private holders who have demonstrated remarkable patience and vigilance, are reportedly in a state of simultaneous disbelief, pure excitement, and overwhelming validation. This broadcast will meticulously dissect the Gazette's contents, explore the profound implications for the currency's revaluation, and explain why this document marks what could genuinely be the final, urgent countdown toward the commencement of official redemptions. This is the update that redefines the entire landscape. To fully grasp the magnitude of this development, it is essential to understand the Gazette's function and its unparalleled importance within the Iraqi governmental structure. Think of the Gazette as the ultimate, non-negotiable public record for the entire nation of Iraq, akin in principle to the Federal Register in the United States. It is the designated, official platform through which every newly enacted law, every major financial regulation, all government resolutions, and every official decree is formally published and legally entered into public record. Therefore, any information or directive that finds its way into the pages of the Gazette instantly transcends the realm of mere suggestion or rumor. It solidifies into binding law, established policy, and verifiable fact. The specific issue released on October 27th contains a section dedicated entirely to the nation's comprehensive currency reform, explicitly outlining the processes of both redenomination and revaluation in clinical detail. The language used within this section is strikingly precise and leaves no room for ambiguous interpretation. It clearly articulates that the Central Bank of Iraqi has successfully finalized a sophisticated, structured mechanism specifically designed for both domestic and international financial settlements. Crucially, the document declares that the phased implementation of this mechanism will be completed before the current fiscal cycle concludes. In concrete, operational terms, this official statement signifies that Iraq has successfully erected all necessary financial infrastructure, achieved deep coordination with the vast network of international banking systems, and is now on the verge of rolling out its new, revised currency procedures. For the legions of private dinar holders, particularly those in the Tier 4B segment, this publication is the definitive official's green light, signaling in no uncertain terms that the long, arduous period of waiting has reached its final stretch. The Gazette goes further by providing remarkable clarity on the structured, surge-phased rollout of the currency reform itself, detailing a three-stage process, each with a distinct operational function and an assigned timeline for completion. Phase 1 is defined as domestic activation. This foundational step involves the entire Iraqi internal financial system, including all national banks, government ministries, and local payment networks, making the essential switch to the new updated dinar exchange rate. Following this is Phase 2, which the document designates as Azarsi International Synchronization. This is the pivotal moment when the vast global banking ecosystem, encompassing international forex markets and the crucial STU-FT financial messaging systems, formally begins to transact and record utilizing the new updated exchange rate. Finally, the process moves into Phase 3, labeled as S redemption and exchange. This is the much-anticipated step that Tier 4B holders have been preparing for and focusing on for years. It represents the specific, formalized point in time where private holders will finally be permitted to exchange their dinar holdings at the official, newly established rate. What makes the current situation so remarkably compelling is the reported status of the initial phases. Unofficial reports, aligning with the Gazette's implications, suggest that both Phase 1 and Phase 2 are already well underway. Evidence of this includes local banks throughout Baghdad actively updating their internal systems, dedicated staff undergoing intense recalibration training, and numerous ATM networks experiencing temporary outages for essential software and hardware updates. Every observed operational change on the ground is now aligning with the exacting, official timeline outlined in the newly released Gazette. The sheer intensity of Versailles excitement within the Tier 4B community is a force that truly cannot be overstated. This is a watershed moment, a definitive departure from the realm of severe speculation and rumor into the solid, unassailable territory of official, as written government proof. Across various private communication channels and dedicated investor groups, the reaction has spanned a gamut from sheer, stunned disbelief to an almost palpable surge of pure adrenaline and strategic readiness. Individuals who have meticulously tracked every minor update, scrutinized every internal memo, and analyzed every leak for what feels like an eternity now possess the ultimate extra validation that the long-promised currency reform is not only real, but it is demonstrably active and progressing according to plan. The confluence of internal bank memos, widespread system updates, and significant back-end changes is all occurring in perfect synchronicity with the Gazette's published timeline, instilling a profound and critical level of confidence among Tier 4B participants that the window for redemptions is opening rapidly. Furthermore, the document's explicit mention of the Iraqi central bank's deep coordination with key international institutions is an important signal to observe. This coordination is a clear indication that the entire rollout is being meticulously synchronized with the global financial systems to ensure an extremely smooth and orderly transition. This comprehensive preparatory work means that when the final redemption phase is officially initiated, private dinar holders can reasonably expect their exchange transactions to be processed with remarkable efficiency, minimizing the potential for major procedural disruptions or frustrating, unexpected delays. The factor of timing is now paramount, and internal notes related to the Gazette's publication strongly suggest that the long-awaited redemption phase could commence imminently, with the fiscal quarter officially drawing to a close on November 1st, and the Gazette explicitly mandating implementation before that fiscal close. The time frame we are now operating within is exceptionally tight, potentially placing the official commencement of exchanges mere days away. Two tangible, undeniable signs supporting this urgent timeline are currently becoming visible throughout the financial infrastructure. Commercial and central banks are demonstrably deep into the recalibration of their core systems. Certain international online banking platforms are temporarily pausing specific transaction types. Significant back-end updates essential for the crucial international synchronization are actively being implemented across the global network. Even internal payroll adjustments and brief, localized payment delays within Iraq itself are all being interpreted as clear indicators that internal systems are being fully updated to reflect the imminent new currency rates. All these observed operational events perfectly match the established, standard procedures that invariably precede a major currency reform going live on a national scale. For dinar holders, this confluence of evidence signals a definitive, critical time to finalize all preparations. The primary directive now is to remain exceptionally calm and focused because the operational system is clearly in place and the final official launch appears truly as imminent. This official confirmation also provides a necessary grounding force against the often wild speculation that has surrounded the potential new exchange rate. While the Gazette itself does not declare a specific rate, verified internal economic sources have allowed for the emergence of a projected international exchange rate. According to these informed sources, the figure could realistically stabilize in the vicinity of 4.25 USD per 1 Iraqi dinar. Some initial calculations and early market modeling suggest that the rate may initially present itself slightly lower, perhaps around 390 USD, before rapidly stabilizing toward the higher, officially established international figure. Should this projection materialize, it would immediately elevate the Iraqi dinar to the status of one of the strongest currencies in the world, potentially even surpassing the highly regarded Kuwaiti dinar in certain economic models tied to the nation's substantial oil revenue and gold reserves. 2. It is vital to remember that a valuation of this magnitude is not merely fantasy. Historical precedent clearly shows that, prior to the devastating sanctions of the 1990s, the dinar was officially valued well above 20 USD at a time when Iraq possessed significantly fewer financial resources and a far less modern financial infrastructure than it does today. With record-level oil exports, considerable and growing gold reserves, and a modernizing digital banking system, these projected numbers are now grounded in solid economic realism. Critically, this revaluation signifies far more than simply a financial windfall for holders. It represents the profound restoration of Iraq's financial sovereignty on the global stage and serves as a major global acknowledgement of the country's extensive economic progress and hard-won stability over the past years. The Tier 4B community is, naturally, the most immediately and directly impacted by the stunning clarity of today's Gazette confirmation. For the private investors who have demonstrated unwavering belief in this moment for years, the official, published timeline is the final, ultimate is validation of their patience, foresight, and meticulous preparation. Following the Gazette's public release, the rapid translation, official verification, and widespread dissemination of screenshots across private channels sparked an immediate, collective reaction that mixed immense relief with a measure of profound disbelief. Many private members had maintained a cautious skepticism, withholding full belief until they saw the official, non-deniable documentation itself. Once the document was verified as legitimate and accurate, the community's focus quickly shifted from anxiety and doubt to organized, strategic investors' readiness. Reports are now circulating that select high-volume private exchange centers, particularly within the United States, have received their own internal confirmations, verifying their full operational preparedness to execute redemptions immediately once the overarching financial system officially goes live. The sheer level of synchronization evident between the domestic financial updates and the simultaneous international banking calibrations is a powerful statement. It demonstrates that the complex process is not only fundamentally real but also functionally as imminent. This high degree of coordination is meticulously designed to guarantee a redemption phase that is not just successful, but also seamless and robust, with a minimal risk of procedural delays. This operational preparedness is precisely the assurance that private dinar holders have been eagerly anticipating. Furthermore, the significance of this update extends far beyond the interests of private investors. It marks an epochal moment for Iraq itself. For many decades, the nation has struggled under the weight of severe structural issues, including persistent inflation, entrenched corruption, and a national currency that simply failed to reflect the nation's immense underlying economic power and potential. The integrated process of revaluation and redenomination is specifically engineered to address and rectify these systemic weaknesses. It is a decisive move to restore fundamentals trust in the national currency, significantly strengthen the vital purchasing power of ordinary Iraqi citizens, and achieve a fundamental stabilization of regional and global trade flows. This currency reform, in its entirety, is not merely a financial transaction, it is a national economic reset of historical proportions. When the new, stable rate is officially launched, the Iraqi people will regain a crucial confidence in utilizing their own currency at a level that is truly commensurate with the country's significant, verifiable economic growth and resource base. Private investors and holders stand to benefit from a secure, verified, and transparent redemption process, while the Iraqi economy gains indispensables as international recognition, vastly improved trade credibility, and a critical renewal of confidence from the world's major financial institutions. 2. Let us now closely examine the crucial international dimension of this unprecedented rollout. The Gazette's document explicitly mentions the detailed coordination efforts with major global financial institutions. This indicates that the reform is being fully and technically integrated with the core SWIFT international transfer systems, the major global forex markets, and other essential regional settlement platforms. Reports suggest that key global bodies, notably the International Monetary Funds, IMF, seconds, and the CES World Banks, have conducted thorough reviews of Iraq's new exchange model and have formally confirmed that all structural benchmarks required for a successful international financial reintegration have been definitively met. This deep level of international scrutiny and approval is specifically designed to ensure that when the new revalued rate becomes officially visible on a global scale, all cross-border transactions, international payments, and complex settlements will proceed without any form of complication or systemic friction. Essentially, Iraq has successfully engineered its comprehensive currency reform to align perfectly with the most stringent international standards. This crucial achievement signals unequivocally to investors around the world that the dinar is now to be recognized as a stable, legitimate, and fully recognized currency within the global financial architecture. This high-level, multilateral international approval is absolutely critical because it serves as a powerful preventative measure against potential market disruptions and, most importantly, guarantees that the entire redemption phase will be executed under secure, fully compliant, and officially sanctioned international protocols. The Gazette has also provided important clarity on the practical, step-by-step procedures for those in the S-Tier 4B dive segment. Once the official redemption phase begins, both authorized banks and specific, verified exchange centers will receive formal, official memos confirming that they are operationally cleared to execute the exchanges. Holders will then be notified to proceed informally, schedule appointments, exclusively through verified and secure channels, a critical security step designed to ensure both authenticity and robust security against fraud. Mandatory verification procedures will be strictly required for all physical notes, which will include meticulous examination of serial numbers, precise authentication stamps, and a physical assessment of the dinar note's overall condition. Once the holdings are fully verified, the exchange rate will be definitively locked in at the official international value, and the resulting funds will be securely deposited according to the holder's specific account type and prevailing banking regulations. Certain high-volume exchange centers may offer structured payout options, which will vary based on their individual institutional policies. The essential, non-negotiable takeaway for all holders remains this: there is no reason to rush or to panic. The absolute priority is to await verified, official communication and instructions to completely avoid falling victim to potential scams and unauthorized, unverified exchange offers. In this critical final stage, Evez preparation and unwavering patience are the most valuable assets a holder can possess. Further undeniable as evidence that the underlying system is now active and operational is rapidly emerging across the financial landscape. The widespread recalibration of bank core systems, the brief and temporary pauses in domestic payroll processing, the intense forex server synchronization updates, and the sporadic, temporary ATM downtimes collectively confirm that the essential internal infrastructure is being fully updated to seamlessly incorporate the new rates. These are highly consistent, recognized signs that traditionally precede a major, complex currency reform, and they align precisely with the highly specific timeline published within the Gazette. This operational activity serves as concrete proof that the central bank and all coordinating financial institutions are actively implementing the necessary final steps to ensure a smooth transition for all holders. For investors, these simultaneous developments provide a significant boost of confidence. The redemption process is definitively not theoretical, it is unfolding in real time and is fully underway. Carefully observing these operational signs also provides holders with the necessary insight to anticipate and fully prepare for the final phase, ensuring they are positioned for immediate action when the entire system officially goes live. Beyond the immediate concerns of Tier 4B and private investors, the broader, lasting as impact of this comprehensive currency reform will be profound for Iraq's standing on the international stage. By successfully adopting a significantly revalued dinar, Iraq is sending an unambiguous signal to the world that its foundational economy is stable, its core financial systems are thoroughly modernized, and that the nation is fully prepared for deeper, more robust reintegration with all global trade partners. This fundamental shift is highly likely to lead to a significant increase in foreign direct investment, the forging of stronger, more mutually beneficial bilateral trade agreements, and a critical improvement in worldwide confidence in Iraqi banking institutions. In essence, the currency reform is far more than a mechanism for financial gains for private holders. It is a meticulously planned, long-term strategy for the second's restoration of Iraq's credibility and long-term economic power. As the new exchange rates stabilize and the redemption phase is successfully executed, the ripple effect will fundamentally impact global markets, redefine international investor relations, and permanently alter the financial narrative for the entire Iraqi population. The definitive confirmation provided by the Gazette also serves a vital function in providing as absolute clarity amidst years of relentless speculation and rumor. The conversation around the dinar has, for years, been entirely dominated by countless leaks, unverified screenshots, anonymous insider whispers, and a constant, swirling chatter on social media platforms. The vast majority of investors have wisely remained cautious, patiently waiting only for as verifiable, official evidence before making any decisive move. Today, the October 27th Gazette effectively eliminates all remaining uncertainty. It officially and legally confirms that the currency reform is fully underway, that it is structurally sound, and that its foundation is entirely legal. This means that all previously circulating speculation now possesses a concrete, official reference point, and holders can now proceed with confidence based on ASEC's official government documentation. For those who have demonstrated extraordinary patience and trust, this is the moment when definitive validation finally arrives, marking a crucial turning point, after an extended period of careful waiting and observation. For those holding as physical dinar notes, the final phase of preparation is paramount and involves extreme diligence. The Gazette confirms that rigorous verification and authentication will be mandatory procedures before any exchange can be executed. This includes ensuring meticulous, detailed documentation, absolutely proper storage of the notes, and a guarantee that the physical notes are in an acceptable, verifiable condition. Critical security markers, such as serial numbers and specific authentication stamps, will be thoroughly checked to prevent any possibility of fraud or counterfeit attempts. Any attempt to circumvent the official process or to utilize unverified channels promising early access could result in significant delays or worse, the invalidation of the entire exchange. The non-negotiable directive is to strictly adhere to official instructions and to actively avoid any unverified, speculative sources. At this critical juncture, patience and absolute procedural accuracy are the qualities that will yield the greatest reward when the redemption phase officially commences. Holders are strongly advised to meticulously check all their holdings, associated paperwork, and prepared bank accounts to ensure comprehensive readiness. The initial reaction among both domestic and international financial and banking communities is already highly indicative of the operational tempo. Banks, both within Iraq and internationally, are demonstrably in the process of actively testing their systems to guarantee a seamless, functional integration with the incoming new rates. Major international forex platforms are performing widespread updates and calibrations, positioning themselves to accurately reflect the official exchange rate immediately upon its public announcement. The temporary adjustments being made to payroll and payment systems are a clear acknowledgement that operational preparations are now in their absolute final stages. Collectively, all these significant movements serve as overwhelming evidence that the entire process is not theoretical but is, in fact, highly active and operational. The Gazette's confirmation simply codifies what these extensive operational changes have been quietly signaling all along, that Iraq's currency reform is fully underway and the final stage of redemption and exchange is truly just around the corner. In considering the broader economic implications, a stronger, successfully revalued dinar is set to fundamentally stabilize trade flows, substantially increase domestic purchasing power, and significantly boost essential long-term investor confidence. Local Iraqi businesses, the nation's key exporters, and all government agencies will directly benefit from the stability of predictable exchange rates and the immediate improvement in international financial credibility. This comprehensive reform also holds the promise of enhancing Iraq's overall fiscal stability, substantially reducing the long-standing inflationary pressures, and actively encouraging long-term sustainable foreign investment into the nation. In other words, the coordinated redenomination and revaluation are not merely about satisfying private holders, they represent a fundamental national economic reset. The citizens of Iraq will experience a profound, renewed trust in their national currency, while global investors and financial institutions will be able to engage with Iraq within an environment that is transparent, verifiable, and compliant with all international financial regulations. For those in the Tier 4B community, the timeliness has now become everything. The Gazette clearly outlines a straightforward yet extremely tight window for the implementation of redemptions, almost certainly within the immediate days following the November 1st fiscal quarter close. The collective signals emanating from banks, the documented ongoing system recalibrations, and the confirmed international synchronization efforts all powerfully indicate that the final, critical hours countdown is actively underway. The most important advice for all holders remains to maintain composure, ensure that all verification and documentation processes are perfectly in place, and wait patiently for the arrival of official, authorized instructions. Acting prematurely or relying on unverified, speculative tips holds the potential to severely jeopardize the entire exchange process. Instead, focused preparation, unflappable calmness, and comprehensive readiness are the most essential and rewarding strategies at this incredibly critical stage. With the official governmental guidance now published and verified, holders can confidently proceed with their final preparations for the redemption phase, knowing definitively that the underlying system is now both legally mandated and operationally ready for launch. The content of the Gazette also serves as a strong reflection of the successful culmination of Iraq's extensive financial reform efforts over recent years. The detailed, coordinated planning that has taken place with major global institutions, including the IMF and the World Bank, has been instrumental in ensuring that the final currency reform fully meets and exceeds all requisite international standards. Key structural benchmarks have been demonstrably met, encompassing essential liquidity requirements, core monetary stability measures, and the complete operational readiness of all domestic banking systems. The successful completion of the Azur's international synchronization phase provides the final essential guarantee that, once the highly anticipated redemption phase begins, private holders around the globe will be able to exchange their dinar smoothly and without systemic complications. This profound level of planning and operational readiness demonstrates clearly that Iraq has learned valuable lessons from past delays, historical missteps, and damaging cycles of speculation. Today, we are witnessing the final, tangible result of years of meticulous policy, careful planning, and comprehensive financial reform, now permanently crystallized within the pages of the October 27th Gazette. As these final days approach, all eyes will be locked onto the official communications from key banks, authorized redemption centers, and official government channels. The procedures for official appointment scheduling for Tier 4B holders, the rigorous authentication processes, and the structured payout plans will all be monitored with intense scrutiny. Every single procedural step will meticulously align with the published instructions contained within the Gazette, ensuring a process that is fully transparent, legally legitimate, and completely secure. This imminent phase represents the powerful culmination of years of patient waiting and meticulous observation by a vast community of investors, long-term holders, and financial institutions worldwide. Once successfully executed, this transition will be recognized as one of the most highly anticipated and complex currency transitions in modern financial history. Those who have remained consistently informed, fully prepared, and wisely cautious are undoubtedly in the strongest possible position to benefit when the official redemption phase finally, definitively opens. 2. In conclusive summary, the landmark October 27th Gazette has formally confirmed what the global financial community and private holders have been patiently waiting for. Iraq's currency reform is definitively active, meticulously structured, and rapidly approaching the long-awaited redemption phase. The Tier 4B and all private holders now possess undeniable, tangible government proof that the final, arduous period of waiting is finally over. The overwhelming signs of widespread system recalibration, the confirmed synchronization between domestic and international financial systems, and the overall operational readiness across key institutions all converge to point toward a historic and transformative reset of the Iraqi economy. This is no longer merely speculation. It is confirmed as official policy and law. The critical window for redemption is now mere days away, and the entire international financial community is demonstrably aligned and prepared to support a smooth, successful rollout. For all holders, this is the definitive moment to remain calm, organized, and absolutely ready for action. For the nation of Iraq, this is a monumental, defining step toward achieving full economic sovereignty, undeniable global credibility, and long-term financial stability. We are, without exaggeration, truly Ezra's witnessing history in the making. Stay tuned, stay completely informed, and most importantly, stay absolutely prepared, as everything is now set to unfold.